Hey, what's going on? It's the Fly Guy. This is your boy Fly Guy. Coming at you with another Chronicles of Fly Guy, episode 19. My experience with COVID. So you're probably saying, Fly Guy, what you mean your experience with COVID? Well, if some that do know me, I did have COVID last year, and it was horrible. So my girl Pepper Potts here is going to interview me today. So I'm gonna hand it over.
How you doing today?
I'm great. A whole lot better than last year.
I would imagine. Let me just dive right in because I've never had COVID, so I've always kind of wondered what happened, like what that was like. I always seem to know people who didn't struggle with like more difficult COVID. They just maybe didn't realize they even had it, so they're asymptomatic.
Right?
Yeah. What was it like physically? Like, what was your experience? What did that feel like?
So you ever been in a walk-in freezer?
Yeah.
Okay, so that night, at night, it would get so bad because I was wearing literally a hoodie in the house and long socks and everything because I was freezing cold.
What month was that anyway?
This was last year in November. So how it initially came about was that I was at home, and I was at home for a week, and I was completely COVID free, wasn't bothering nobody. I was still working at a same hospital I was there. Well, I wasn't there because I had to stay home for school. And initially, we were supposed to go to Virginia to do this class, but because of COVID, we had to do it online. So financially, it saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right, but so we did the class and everything. I passed it, and I went up to to work that day, that Friday, and I was sitting on the scheduler. I didn't have on a surgical mask. I just had a regular old cloth mask on, and she called and let me know she had COVID herself. So about that Tuesday, I started feeling something, and like I said, it's like a walk-in freezer. Like I was freezing from head to toe, and I said something's not right. I was tired, and I haven't been working. I'm not doing anything. What's going on here? So finally, I said, you know what? I called my supervisor, or I called the employee health nurse, because when I talked to the scheduler, she's like, oh, you were only around me like about 15 minutes or so. If you weren't around that long, it shouldn't be that bad. But it started getting worse progressively. And I was like, okay, I'm tired. I'm freezing. I'm hot. Something ain't right. So I was like, and normally I don't go to hospital whatsoever, even though I work in one. I know that's a bad thing, y'all, but I don't. So I went up there and I said, I need to get a COVID test. They did it, and I sat around and waited some more, and waited some more, and waited some more. And they finally called me and said, you have COVID. I said, okay. He said, well, you got to sit down for about 10 days, hydrate and everything. And then the bad part is that Jay Peasy, the one that was here last time, he actually was at the house for a show that night. That I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, it can't be anything that bad. But it didn't get bad until he left. So I called him and told him, and he ended up having it too. So.
Oh, I bet you loved that.
Oh yeah, he was like, he said, Ben, I ought to whoop your ass. He's like, I wanted to whoop your ass at first. I said, well, at least I told you. He's like, yeah, you're right. You could have been not cool about it, not told me anything. So, it's one of those things. But physically, I couldn't get from my bedroom to my couch. That's about as far as I would get. Luckily, I don't have a big apartment, so it was hard. Like I get from my bed to my couch. From my couch, I'll sleep the rest of the day. Like there was no other. It wasn't easy. Like as easy as to get up now and just answer the door. That would take me about a few minutes to get up, answer the door, and then of course nobody's there because I won't be in close contact with you. But it was pretty bad. It was horrible.
So I've never experienced it, so I I'm just asking from like a standpoint of I have no idea what even would happen protocol wise if you were to, find out that you got COVID. Um, were you given any instructions for like comfort care for those physical issues you were having?
Not really, no. All I was told was that to hydrate and stay home. So, on a mental aspect, it's really hard to. You're kind of basically solitude. You have to be in confinement, basically,
Right.
and you're away from everybody. You're away from everything. All you have is your TV, and your apartment's like your apartment is like your jail cell, basically. You can't really be outside unless you have a mask on, and I probably wouldn't even recommend that. But nobody's going to be around you because they don't want to get sick neither. So it's one of those things like, well, I've done absolutely nothing wrong, but I'm still being, I'm still having to stay here and quarantine myself and be around nobody. And anybody I mean, if anybody's in the house with you, they have to quarantine too. But being I live by myself, luckily, I just sat there. I mean, I talk to JPZ on the phone or I talk to somebody on the phone every once in a while. My mom would call me, my dad called, but physically seeing anybody, nah.
No, when you got the diagnosis that it was COVID, it wasn't like the flu or anything. You had COVID. Um, what kind of details were you kind of warned about? Were you given any information about side effects that you might be able to expect? How to, I guess, make yourself feel more comfortable from those symptoms and side effects of having COVID?
Not really. All they told me was, and I'll quote, drink fluids, and it said try to stay hydrated, drink fluids. I knew that taking either Tylenol or Motrin would kind of bring down like the fever. The Tylenol would bring down the fever, and Motrin kind of do with the body aches and everything like that. So I was kind of switching between those. Not very often. It was more of a sundowners thing. I'd be fine during the day, but at night it would get worse. So during the day I'd be fine. So actually at one point I had actually cleaned my whole apartment, and that was a bad idea because I was feeling it. I felt like I was 85 once I got done. Like I could not move. I was like, oh yeah, I feel good. I'm all right. And no, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, it wasn't. We weren't given any specific instructions. Just being in the medical field, kind of like my parents, being there, and my mom being in the pharmacy, she kind of guided me through it. But still, there was really nothing I could do. There was no just kind of let it run its course for the next 10 days.
Wow. Huh. That must have been pretty terrifying to just, you hear this is something that's wrong with you, and you're seeing a lot of people, being put on ventilators and passing away. I bet it was pretty scary. Did you ever, experience negative thoughts?
Yeah. I never, had any issue well, I'm just end it all or nothing like that. But I was like, man, what the fuck? Why me? What did I do? What did I do to deserve? I'm over here on the front lines and I get this shit. What the hell? So, I was glad I wasn't around anybody else. I told everybody, but it's just kind of I can't be around nobody. Like nobody. It's kind of like involuntary isolation. I'm not necessarily an isolated person anyways. I mean, I'm pretty out there and around people. So for me to have to isolate, and it's like, nobody's calling me, nobody's saying anything, and I know everybody has a life, but it's like, well, damn, what about me? Like when I'm checking on y'all, nobody's checking on me. And then some people actually check on me I never thought would check on me. Like, came out of nowhere. Hey, I heard you're sick. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Well, as bad as good as I'm gonna get. And they were just kind of like, okay, well, if you need anything, let me know. And
Who's the number one person you didn't expect to really come through for you because maybe you weren't aware that they were as good of a friend or whatever.
Or new? Well, it's actually a surprise. My friend Amanda, I work with. She works on the third floor. Shout out to Amanda. She works on the third floor, and she calls me. She said, "Hey, Ben, you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." She's like, "You need anything?" I said, "Actually, yeah, I do." I said, "I need some Dr. Pepper and some orange juice." And she says, "Where do you live?" So I tell her, I give her the address. She's like, "Ben, you're 30 minutes away." I said, "Well, you asked me, but I can't leave the house. Literally 2 minutes up the street from HEB, but I can't go in there. I'm literally have to stay in this apartment." And she was like, "Okay, well, I'll bring it tomorrow morning." And sure enough, she calls and she called me and said, "Hey, I left it in front of your door," and it was there. So I didn't expect that. A lot of people came through that I didn't expect to come through. I had another friend. She left just cleaning supplies and at the front door. Um, my sister left food. She was just kind of better leave some food as much as I've done for you. Shit. But Amanda was a big surprise. I did not expect her to. I mean, we've been friends, but I didn't expect her to come through like that. I mean, I would do the same thing, but sometimes people say things but they don't do it. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was a big surprise.
So we talked about how you found a couple of people that surprised you with how good of a relationship that they valued you as having with them. Has any of your relationships since then changed? Like, do you have a greater appreciation for some of the folks now than what maybe you did before?
I still have the same appreciation for them. I never really had like a non-appreciation for them just because of our work relationships. As far as work is concerned, we have to trust each other, or nothing's going to get done. A patient could be acting up. Somebody could be in crisis. So I have to trust that they can do their job, so I don't have to stop what I'm doing to go help them. So in that aspect, not really. Everybody's kind of still on the same page. We have our little issues sometimes, just like everybody does. When you work with somebody for 12 hours, you're gonna you're gonna get on each other's nerves. But as far as that's concerned, no, we not really. Everybody I pretty much value and hey, how you doing? Anything? I'm I'm that guy that everybody knows. They're like, "Hey man, hey, what's going on?" Hey, over here in radiology. Don't even know what they are. It's like, hey, So a lot of people know me in the hospital. Even the ER director was like, "Well, if you get sick, just come over here." I said, "Why would I do that?" She said, "Well, so everybody can see you." I said, "Don't nobody care." And I guess I was wrong. My bad. I was wrong in that aspect. I saw that was along with the negative. That nobody cares. Why? It's like you can't necessarily go see the person because it's that contagious or it's that airborne or whatever. So I carry the lights on my apartment now, like my business. So
everybody's getting sprayed down when they walk in. Huh?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I'm not going like, "Oh, turn around. You spray."
I can picture that.
Turn around. Hold on. Hold. No, it's not that. It's not that serious. I do use Lysol and clean my apartment though. I use bleach. I've always used bleach anyways. I don't want people to feel like I'm being judgmental because they've been outside or whatever. If you're outside, live your life, but just be careful.
Right.
That's all. That's really all it boils down to. Be careful and understand this shit is real. Like I put a video up. It said Corona's real. Like when I actually did recover, I said, "Man, I'm back," but damn.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've heard of instances where folks who had COVID still experience long-term issues. Does that apply to you? Do you feel like that anything physically has changed? Like maybe you are more fatigued than what you would have been before, or does it feel like anything's different than how it was before you had COVID?
Fortunately, no. Um, Now, initially 2 weeks after, oh yeah, I felt fine on the 8th day. By the 10th day, it was gone. You know, I was like, it's completely good. But when I went back to work, is when I felt it, because we're on our feet for 12 hours, walking around,
Right.
we're having to go everywhere, and it was to a point where when I got home, I felt like I just went 12 hours with Mike Tyson, you know, and I'd automatically just fall asleep. It wasn't like it is now, and I get home, I kind of wind down and just chill. It was automatic on sleep, like on the couch for about 2 weeks, because my body was still trying to recover. And honestly, I think that 14 days, that second week is for you to recover physically, just so you can get back to work and be able to do your job. And my job is very physically demanding because we have to walk around. I might have to put our hands on a patient. We don't want to, but even verbally, just talking to them, that's exhausting, because it's like, man, I ain't got enough breath to talk to you right now. Like, please just relax. So yeah, it was the side effects initially for about 2 weeks, but long term, about over a year now. No, I'm fine now.
That's good. That's really good. Um, can you explain how catching COVID has affected you financially?
Oh my god. Financially, I'm still recovering, y'all. As I mentioned, I was in school. I was going to Liberty University, and I was paying on my paying monthly. I was paying $300 a month, because I think my financial aid didn't cover something. So I was paying $300, and I was doing fine. And then I caught that, so I wasn't able to pay for December or January, because I was trying to catch up with my bills. And then it took me about a good 2 months to just catch up in general. Rent, car, insurance, phone. I mean, bills just didn't stop. And though I have short-term disability, you had to go through all your PTO first. So PTO covered that week, but it ain't cover enough to when I'm making my overtime and things like that. So I had to figure out some things. I had to ask my mom for help. But she did. Shout out to my mom.
We do that. We help our kids.
Yeah, well, she helped me a lot. She did. She helped me with the rent. You know, if I needed little things, I really don't ask for a whole lot. But she did help with my rent. Excuse me. I managed to do what I needed to do to get things done. Did a little lift, things like that, and I kind of finally got back on my feet. After about 2 months, it took a big. It still impacts me right now, because I'm not back in school yet. Until I pay that, they have a hold on my account, so I can't register. And I was on track to, I'll finish this. I'm gonna go ahead and get my license. And yeah, just didn't.
Wow. Gotcha. So, um, it's actually affected you not just financially, short term, but long term, because you can't finish your schoolwork to get into a new career. Wow. Um, oh, was there any assistance that was available to you, just out of curiosity? I know that some folks were like able to qualify for, rental assistance or anything like that. I don't know if any of those were even available to you at the time, or.
Um, I didn't ask for rental assistance because I didn't feel like I was out long enough, and I think you had to be out for a certain amount of time and be like behind so much before they would like even bother to help you. And then being I was working in the hospital, they're like, well, an essential worker, so you're making the money you need to make. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Just because you work in a hospital does not mean you're making a lot of money. It doesn't. It just means you work in a hospital. I'm telling you that right now. I don't make a whole. I don't make a fortune. You know, I just happen to work in a hospital, and I happen to.
So basically, not amount, but more like just job security is what
job security. Yes, that's all I really had. Was job security. I didn't ask for assistance. Like I said, I felt like I was out long enough to ask for jobs for help. But I'm pretty sure if I would have got way, way behind, I would have probably been able to call somebody. They did have an insurance policy called Oceans or something like that I could have applied for if I felt like I called it at work, which technically I did. But I had to prove it. So I'd had to prove that I was at work when I caught it. And they'll, go through the whole process. And by the time you get your money, it's like, it's such a long waiting process that they want you to give up. So
there's a bunch of hoops that you need to jump through to get what you need.
And I don't have time for that. Like, it's only one month that I'm looking at that I was probably like a couple hundred behind or something like that. So it wasn't that bad, but the point was like, you have these assistant places out there, but they want you to jump through hoops and be over there during the work day. But if you don't have a job, or you do have a job, but that job isn't paying enough,
to help make up for the time that you lost.
People were making more unemployment for a long time than they were on being employed. So it was kind of like, well, damn, I made more of unemployment, so I might as well just whatever. So that was a big thing. That was one of my frustrations with this COVID thing going, COVID in general. Not only do people getting sick and dying, but people running around with a mask on and doing all this extra stuff, and they still reap the benefits of being unemployed.
That's actually what I was going to ask you next, about the impact that COVID has had on your career field, as in, like, just the medical field in general.
We're tired. We're tired. We're worn out. We're beat down. I don't know how else to say it. If people come in and they come in with this attitude like, I ain't getting that damn shot, and I don't need that shot. I'm immune to COVID. They think they're Aaron Rodgers, who says he has immunity to COVID, but he wasn't vaccinated. So there's a difference right there too. Well, the problem is, I like people that come in with that attitude are the same ones coming into the hospital talking about, oh, I got COVID, I feel like I'm dying. Oh, but you didn't want to get the help then, but now you want to help you now. So, in a sense, it's job security, but at the same time, it's like we're on the front lines fighting for you to not get vaccinated, but when you don't do it, then we're having to deal with the repercussions.
Treat the same people over and over again.
Treat the same people. Some have died. Some have. We've had people die. I mean, I've had coworkers die. I had one as an EKG. She was one of the EKG technicians. She passed away. Another lady I saw, she was never on oxygen. She walked around with an oxygen pack now, and she's still in the hospital. I mean, she's still strolling along. So there was another lady that was a ER secretary, and she was on a ventilator. It's like she was the full nine, the whole 9 yards, ventilator. And, I haven't learned to walk again. All this crazy, and she's back. So I mean,
at any point when you were sick, did you feel like that was going to be you, like on the ventilator and stuff like that? Were you scared that was going to be you?
No, I didn't feel that way. I was like, you know what? It's in God's hands now. If that's what I'm meant to be, I'll be there. But I wasn't that bad. I'll put it that way. It wasn't as bad. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad. I could breathe just fine. I had a little bit like maybe a stuffy nose, but I could still breathe. But a lot of people, if their stats went down below, I don't know, probably like in the 80s, 60s.
You're talking about the oxygen saturation rate?
Those two stats, yeah. Sorry, y'all. The oxygen saturation rate, if it goes down below, you probably say what, 80-ish?
In the 80th%, meaning that's...
how much oxygen you got coming in, or is it putting coming
in
in
your blood?
Yeah, in your blood. So if it's not coming in, obviously you're not able to breathe. So I have to push you on oxygen. No, I didn't feel like that. I honestly felt like I was gonna be okay. I was like, I'm just gonna have to ride it out. Now, if I did get to the point where I'm like, oh shit, I can't breathe, I would have called somebody. But no, I didn't. I didn't have that issue.
How about Jarnell? I think you said he got it too, right?
Yeah, he did. Jarnell, I would call him just about every day because I felt so bad. I was like, oh man, I was like, damn man, I got my podcast partner sick, man. And I was like, man, he gonna be like, I don't even want to deal with you no more, bro. But he was cool about it, and he said, like I said, he's like, man, I whoop your ass, because I want to whoop your ass at first, but you told me. So he was fine. He was fine. I asked him like, "Hey, man, you okay? You good to go? What's going on?" He's like, "Oh man, I'm good. Everything was fine." Yeah, he didn't seem to have an issue. I would talk to him every day, and then we pretty much same thing. He falls asleep all day too, But he's a real estate agent, so his was a little more. It was a little more devastating because he couldn't get out there and see his clients.
Right.
My clients were right there.
And as soon as you were done, you get to go back to them.
And he had to kind of build his clientele and everything like that. So, and they understood. He's like, "Hey, I'm sick. I can't come see you right now for 10 days." So, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty terrible. I'm gonna go back to us talking about you being in the medical field. Since everything's happened and we're still technically in the pandemic, have you ever considered changing fields? That's something that's ever crossed your mind, even if it was just for a moment or so, and then you changed it back?
No. I like what I do. I like helping people, and if that means that my life could possibly be on the line, it's just like being a policeman. You're out there, you're serving and protecting. So I feel like my job is to serve and protect the mental health of a lot of people, or the mental health population. I'll put it that way. Not a lot of people are built to do what I do, and everybody says, "Oh, I can deal with that. I can, I'll do this and do that." I was like, "No, you're not built for this. It's a calling. It's something that you're not just going to just hop up and do it. You're not just going to hop up one day and say, I'm going to work mental health." It doesn't work that way. If it did, most people would be there and it quit. It's like it's a regular 9 to 5 at McDonald's. It doesn't work that way. It's very demanding on your body. It's very draining, mentally draining and physically, and you have to know how to turn it off and on. And we have sort of have PTSD, some of the old school techs. Like we hear a door slam or somebody screams, we're automatically, what's going on? So we're not used to quiet units. We never use the Q word or the S words, which is slow, because we have a bunch of people coming in.
Oh yeah.
We never use the Q word, quiet, because then somebody starts hollering, and we never use the C word, calm. We never use that word neither, because as soon as it's calm, that's the calm before the storm, and somebody just goes off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a calling, and I've yet to see anything else that's called besides this. I've seen nothing else that calls me to do anything else.
If you experience staffing issues, like understaffing? Was there a high turnover right now?
Oh my God, staffing is just, man. If I had a magic wand, it could just generate people and put them in the hallway. Like, look, you're already seasoned. You know what to do, and you're good. And you're a good tech. That's the thing. You're a good tech. You're a good nurse. You're a good manager. I would just wave it and just put it out, and then everybody will be fine. But man, the staffing. I mean, I get calls on my days off, like not as frequent anymore because they know I work other jobs. Sorry about that, y'all. I mean, it is what it is. But it's just like, man, you don't have any staff. Like there's some staff don't show up. There's some staff that show up late, and then the good staff that are showing up on time, they're starting to show up late because they're like, y'all don't care about the ones that are showing up late, so why should I care? They start to get that mentality, and it just kind of nobody's there to break the cycle. I show up on time. First of all, I like my money.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I want to know what's going on because I don't like walking in blinded. So I need to know what's going on, who's there, who's doing what, who's acting up, who's not. Who's being calm, what's the one-to-one about, who's struggling, who I need to pay extra attention to or talk to immediately when they start hollering, or are they just talking to themselves, I don't like walking in not knowing who's who. I mean, I may know your name, not your face, not just yet, but by the end of the day, I'm going to know your name, your face, and every behavior you do.
Right.
So, yeah, the staffing is just, yes, that's a whole nother podcast. Like the staffing, I mean, if you think you got it, if you think you can work in mental health, holla at me. But it's not as easy as you think.
You getting any referrals, bonuses if you bring people on to where you work?
Why you want to come?
I don't know about that. No, I'm just saying in case somebody out there might.
Nah, no referral bonuses I know of.
Darn. Trying to help this guy out.
Trying to get that money, but no, just he been good job bringing this person in. But I mean, my bonus would be is that this person actually does work and do what they're supposed to do. Just do your job and go home. You ain't got to worry about this extra. I'm tired. Like I'm worn out. I'm tired of having to pick up everybody's slack because you can't go get a towel. Or go pour some water for a patient. It's not that hard. Just do it and go sit down. But
so off that subject, I didn't really cover it with you, but I'm gonna ask you now. Did you decide to get vaccinated, or did you choose to remain unvaccinated?
Oh, I'm vaccinated with the booster shot.
Okay.
The reason I decided to get vaccinated, I was going to get vaccinated anyways. When the vaccinations came out, I was already planning on getting vaccinated, but then I got COVID. So when the vaccinations came out, they're like, "Oh, you can't. You have to wait 3 months." And then like, "Oh no, you can wait. You don't have to wait." And then it's like, "Can somebody give me a straight answer here?" So finally, they're like, "Just wait 3 months and then you can go get it." So I waited and waited and waited, and then finally, the other two staff members that had COVID along with me, they got theirs. I'm like, "Where's my shot at? Where's it?" So I had to do a whole bunch of emails and digging around, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you work at the hospital." I said, "Yeah, I work here. I need the shot because I'm around people that have this. I'm not going to be walking around knowing I'm unvaccinated and expect not to get sick again. If I do get sick again, at least I won't get it as bad." So I got the 2 shots, and then recently I got the booster too. The booster didn't really bother me at all.
Is everybody eligible for the booster, or just somebody who maybe already had COVID? I don't know if it's open
No,
to everybody.
it's open to everybody. So what it is basically, so let's say you got your Pfizer or Moderna, and actually, if you got Pfizer or Moderna, you can still get the booster with Moderna too. So let's say you got Pfizer, the 2 shots of Pfizer,
Mhm.
you can get the Moderna booster also. You don't have to have Pfizer. So I have Moderna. So I just went ahead and got the Moderna just all together, and of course it has student nurses doing it, so she's all. I'm like, you gotta stick it that hard, jeez. But she was a student, so I was like, I'm not gonna be like, what are you doing? I just took it. But
Is there a Pfizer booster? I don't know.
I think that Pfizer was the first booster.
Okay, all right.
And
so.
then Moderna came out with their booster because Moderna hadn't been FDA approved yet.
Right.
Johnson & Johnson, I don't think they're doing a booster per se. They've been having a lot of issues with Johnson & Johnson, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not a medical expert, but Johnson & Johnson, I don't think they have a booster for them yet. Yet. I don't know if they're going to have one either.
I wonder if those folks, the Johnson and Johnson recipients, if they could get a booster from Pfizer or Moderna, and that would help them.
That's a good question.
I feel like maybe it's two different formulas there for the vaccines. I'm not sure, but I'm curious if you could cross those.
I don't know if Moderna or Pfizer can cross with Johnson & Johnson. I haven't heard anything about it, but, I mean, it's a possibility. Could not. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, to be honest with you.
Maybe we can, look it up and then post it with the details on the video when you post it up. Letting folks know in case they decide they want to get information about that.
Yeah, I'll obviously put something else up there and let them know, hey, I do know that for sure if you have Pfizer, you can get Moderna as a booster. It doesn't necessarily have to be Moderna. It doesn't necessarily have to be Pfizer. It can be Moderna also. And they're also doing, I want to say from ages 5 to 12 now.
I know that my daughter got her first dose, and she's 10, and it was Pfizer.
Okay. So yeah, she'll be up for her second one. The booster is at least 6 months. At least 6 months before you get the booster. So, of course, mine was been 10 months now. So, almost, we're closing in, getting close to a year. Like, a little bit later in the year, we'll be close to a year. So, I was out long enough to get the booster. And
that means mine should be rolling around here pretty soon. I think I got mine in June.
December or January, one of those.
Yeah.
I guess coming around that time.
That'll be my Christmas gift to myself, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, sticking around is to try to stay, at least trying to make sure you prevent from, getting sick. So, I don't particularly agree with people that don't get it, but it's just me. Some people, it wasn't that bad. Like, okay, it wasn't that bad before. Who's to say it won't be bad next time? Or next time? The next time? You can only get it so many times before it's like, all right, I'm about to take you out.
How do you feel about the, medical staff at facilities that are having mandates that they need to be vaccinated? How do you feel about those individuals, debating whether they should get vaccinated or not? Do you have an opinion on that?
That's their individual right, but if you're going to work in the medical field, you need to get vaccinated. It's just plain and simple. Why would you be on the fence about getting vaccinated when you see what's coming in? You see what it's doing to people. Oh, that won't be me. That ain't going to happen to me. And as soon as you're on that ventilator, you're like, damn, I should have got vaccinated. I woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I hear a lot of stories like that.
And it's been like that for a long time. People are, no, it ain't gonna happen to me. I'll be all right, whatever. Even though I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, and I hear these stories all the time. I don't need that. Really? Are you sure? Because last time I heard, you're human. You don't have an immune system like Superman. who's a fictional character anyways, you're human. So most of these humans that are getting it are not able to fight it off. And if you can't fight it off, you're gonna be saying I woulda, coulda, shoulda when you had the whole chance in the world. You work in a hospital. Why would you be unvaccinated and then preach to people to get vaccinated or not get vaccinated? They don't say anything about being unvaccinated, but it's like, why would you not get vaccinated? It's just like getting a flu shot. You work in a hospital. People have the flu when they come in. You're vaccinated from the flu. This is the same exact thing. Now, saying that, I'm not saying COVID is like the flu. That's bullshit. Because people tell, oh, it's like the flu. No. This is not the flu. It's not the flu. It attacks your respiratory system. Period. You can't breathe. You can't breathe, you might die. So I haven't seen the flu put anybody on ventilators. I'm just saying. So it's not the flu. Yes, you're gonna have flu-like symptoms. You're tired. You can't really get very far. You're weak. You're feeble. But it attacks your respiratory system and your muscles for that matter. Your nerve system too. Like you can't really move anywhere. Like,
well, it's when there's oxygen in your blood, the oxygen goes to muscle tissue. So I would imagine that would be affected if you're not getting enough oxygen into your blood.
You're very right. You're absolutely right. And that's why I keep telling people it's not like the flu. It's not the super flu. It's not the flu on steroids. This is not the flu, period. It's not the flu. Stop comparing. It's not. It is not the flu. It is way worse than the flu. Oh, people were dying for H1N1. Like, okay, and you see people are running to get the flu shot.
Yeah.
When H1N1 came out. Yes, I'm going back to that. But this comes out and now everybody's all skeptical. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna listen to what Fauci says. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I know is that I'm not trying to get sick and not be able to be around for my daughter. Because I didn't want to go get vaccinated. For what? What am I possibly missing by not getting vaccinated? I'm not missing anything. But I'm missing out on possibly staying around and being alive.
And just being with your daughter.
I've yet to see Pfizer or Moderna hurt anybody. Johnson & Johnson has its issues, but that's like, one in like a few million. So
it's about risk mitigation.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're not gonna do it, then at least wear a mask and protect everybody else, including yourself. But you ain't want to do that. Oh, you're taking my rights away. Oh, you're not gonna tell me what to do. Okay. But just understand that when people don't let you into their stores or they don't want to let you, if you're not vaccinated, you can't get upset for them wanting to protect themselves from you. So that was my experience. It was not great. I wouldn't go through that no more. It was horrible. Any other questions?
No, actually, it was really, really good details. I've got a little bit more insight than I did before. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give anybody any advice. You're going to do what you want. That's not what I'm here for. These shows that we do, in particular, my co-host here, Pepper Potts, me, we just get out there to put the information out, and you do what you want with it. That was my personal battle with COVID as it was. I'll never do it again. I will always help out the people that I work with. If anybody ever gets it, call me and ask me what to do. If I don't know, I'll surely tell you, hold on, I'll find out for you. just keep yourself safe. Make sure you wash your hands.
If you get COVID, shoot me a message. I'll bring you some Dr. Pepper.
Exactly. Pepper pot's here. Bring some Dr. Pepper. I might bring the orange juice, but that's it for tonight, folks. I'm Fly Guy. She's Pepper Potts, and we out.